3 under today, 3-shot lead heading into tomorrow. Just thoughts on your round today overall and having the lead going into the final round?
Yeah, I played well again today. I didn't get off to the start that I have been the last couple of days, but made a good birdie on 2 after not a very good drive, but I got away with 1 and made a couple bogeys there on the par 3s with some pretty easy bunker shots, so that was a little upsetting. But overall, I really, really played well in the middle of the round and made a lot of key birdies, I felt like.
Ben?
You're playing with Rory tomorrow. He talked up there about you guys practicing together a lot last week. Can you sort of run us through that and how it'll be tomorrow, sort of going head-to-head with him?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Rory and I have played together a lot. We've played together a lot in tournaments, but never in this kind of situation. So it'll be different. We'll both be doing our own thing. I'm sure we'll chat here and there between shots, but he's out there doing his thing and I'll be out there doing mine. But last week, yeah, we were just both home in Jupiter and we just happened to be kind of practicing around the same time and just kind of catching up and trying to practice before we could beat the thunderstorms. That was about it.
He also said that he's sick of finishing second this year and wants to obviously get it done. What are you going to have to do to make sure he stays second or third?
Sounds like just beat him. It's very cliche and obvious, but I just need to beat him. But I'm in a position where I can play smart. I don't need to play really conservative. If I hit good drives, I'm gonna have wedges in my hands to where I can attack and make birdies. But for the most part, I just need to try to go out tomorrow and have a blemish-free round. And I feel like the field's gonna need to kind of chase after me a little bit, which can be done on this golf course, but it's definitely getting a little firmer and faster.
Rex and Doug?
Justin, you talked about your putting yesterday. Is that a feeling you have coming into the week that it was going to turn around, you're going to have such a good putting week, or is it a matter of it just kind of happens?
It just happened. If you had watched my warm-up yesterday, you would not have told me that I was going to shoot 6 under and make everything. I was very frustrated. I didn't know what to do. I told my dad, I don't know what I'm going to do out there, and I was having a hard time. With my tendency with my putting is to kind of let the shaft lean going through, and I don't release the putter, and that's when I miss those putts to the right. And it's hard when you're out there to trust. I feel like I was putting like this yesterday, and it's hard to trust that sometimes. So I had a hard time with it, but I was like, what am I going to do? I go out there and just keep missing putts. I may as well try something different. And my dad kind of said something before I went off that helps a little bit. He's like, no matter how you feel or what you're doing with your stroke, he's like, you still have to hit your lines, and you need to have the right speed. So just go out there and just focus on trying to roll it down that line with your speed, and that's just kind of what I did.
I wanted to ask you a couple questions about the 4th hole. There's probably a dozen or more guys that went long on that. Was that any type of an example of 2 days of soft and maybe getting a little more aggressive than you should have? And secondly, on your putt, was how crucial, and even though it's early in the round, was it to make that to keep from slipping further behind?
Yeah, it was. It's funny you said that, because I literally said that to Jimmy walking off the green. I was like, hey, we need to start playing for bounce outs here. It's not as soft as it was. Some greens are softer than others and in spots, but overall, you get a green like that where it's kind of sitting up, or you get a green like 12. They're getting a little crusty and they're getting some bounce to them. So it was like, hey, we can't just kind of C-pin, hit pin anymore. We need to focus on where we're landing it. We need to be a lot more cognizant of that, because I was lucky to get that up and down because it didn't cost us a shot. But yeah, that was a big putt, because it definitely gave me some confidence after I missed a very makeable putt on 3, which would have been a great save for par. And so yeah, that was a nice save there.
How much tougher does it make this course when it's just a little bit firmer than it was the first 2 days?
It's a lot harder. The hardest part is probably just kind of chipping around the greens and those wedge shots. When you miss a green, the last couple of days or the first 2 days, Phil. Obviously Phil has short game, but he's taken the pin out on chips that are usually very, very difficult, but that is because the greens are soft. He wouldn't be as aggressive and be able to kind of attack these chip shots if they weren't as soft as they were. Needless to say, they're still not firm, but they're definitely trending that direction. And especially when we tee off tomorrow, we're definitely going to have to pay attention to that a little bit and see how the balls are reacting.
Justin, 3 days ago, you sat in that exact seat and spoke about the need to get back into the heat of the battle on a Sunday. How does it feel now that you've at least gotten that box checked off?
Yeah, it feels great. I felt like I'd been close. Like I said, the results and the scores didn't show, and I'm happy to finally play this place well. I mean, obviously I have a day left, but I've played 3 really good days of golf. So I guess I'm glad I played it well for it to move next year. But we still have a day left to just keep sticking to our game plan. And but I'm excited for the opportunity tomorrow. I guess it's been a little while in my eyes, and but have a lot of really good players that are going to be chasing me down. So I need to I need to play well tomorrow.
Justin, speaking of good players up at the top, you've got yourself, Jason Day's up there, Rory's up there, and then you mentioned that the course is sort of speeding up and drying out a little bit. Does it have a little bit of a major championship feel right now?
I just think this golf course in general kind of has a major championship feel. It's a very, I mean, this place could host a major in a heartbeat if if it all worked out. If these fairways, well, first off, if the fairways were firm, it'd be impossible because you couldn't hold them. I mean, you get U.S. Open rough and these rough or these fairways fast and firm, it wouldn't be very fun, honestly, because it's pretty hard to hit fairways. But which, by the way, Kyle Stanley hit 11 fairways today. I will never know how that's possible out here, and one of them he hit in the first cut. So it's such a hard driving course, and it's when it gets firm and fast. I think my first year I played here, it was like that a little bit. It can get pretty fun out there because, like you said, it does have a little bit of that major feel.
And 2 things. Did you and Rory just practice last week, or did you play any matches? And if you did, who won, and were any of them for $10 million?
No. I think if we had a match for $10 million, we would just shake on it and we'd split it. I think that'd be the smartest decision for us. But no, we didn't. I didn't play any golf last week. I just practiced. I don't know what he did, but we just kind of ran into each other on the range.
And secondly, what was your number on 2, and was that an easy decision?
I had 2. We guessed actually 242 is what Jimmy got, and I don't know. It was a pretty good number. I landed about 12 feet from the hole, so it was. It wasn't necessarily an easy decision. It was one of those where I'm looking at it and I'm kind of churning in my head like, all right, what do I need to say to convince Jimmy to let me do this kind of thing? And I was like, what do you like here? I was like, you like 5-wood? And he was like, I never thought anything else. And I'm like, perfect. Don't have to even say anything. So I just grabbed the 5-wood and hit it because it was one of those I just had to overslice it, and obviously if it comes out straight and hot, then I'm screwed. But it was sitting up enough to where out of that first cut I could get some spin on it and get it curving. And because it was holding up against the wind, somehow it happened to be the right club.
Yesterday you shot 64 to get yourself into a title contention, and today 67. Are you surprised you are taking a 3-stroke lead into the final round with a 67?
Yeah, I guess you could say yeah. Mm-hmm. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the day, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But I'm glad that it happened. That's for sure.
The conditions of the course obviously dictated the higher score.
Yeah, they had some good pins out there too. They had some difficult ones. You get a hole. Obviously, it's 16, but that was a hard pin today. It has a hard pin to wedge it to. If you come up a little short with some spin, it spins all the way down, and then if you try to fly it past it with the greens getting firm, it was going to bounce over. So, you just take a little hole like that, or even 11 if you miss that fairway. So, or 10. I mean, they had some hard pins out there today, and I'm sure with 11 under leading after 2 rounds, they're going to continue to set it up tough.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You just said that your caddy, you were expecting from him to agree with you, have this coherence to hit the shot. So how often it happened that you rely on your caddy or your own validation? Yeah,
I rely on him a lot. We had my dad, Jimmy, and myself had a good talk on was that Tuesday? Monday. No, Tuesday. Tuesday we went out and played. I played by myself, walked 9 holes, and we had a big talk just to kind of to make sure everybody in the team was doing what they needed to do for us to play our best, and that's myself included. You know, I asked them if they felt I needed to do anything, if I needed to practice anything better, if I needed to become better, and if they didn't see maybe a hard enough effort for me, if my attitude wasn't as good as it could be, but also, you know, I said the same to my dad. You know, it's like, hey, Dad, I need you to do some of these things, and Jimmy, I need you to step in a little bit more. You know, we had a couple instances at the British where we learned from. They were tough, but we learned from them, and because of that, you know, I think that's good to have every once in a while. So, you know, I rely on him a lot. He's a huge part of this team. You know, he's the other half of me. So he's been great this week. I told him that on 18 that he did a great job today. You know, we talked through 16. We were just kind of at a weird number where a 3-wood was too much and 5-wood wasn't enough, and I could have cut a 3-wood, but because I was on that downhill slope, he's like, you know, let's not do that. Wish we would have done that yesterday and not hit it in the water, but we learned from it, and you know, hopefully we'll continue to do so.
That was actually part of my question, but it seemed like out there you guys were talking for like 4 or 5 minutes on 16 about your second shot. What was the conversation?
Yeah, I was a little too close. For 3-wood. The hard part is I had 267 front, 281 hole. I mean, a 3-wood I can comfortably fly 280, and I felt it just would have been a perfect high. If it would have been a normal lie, everything with that wind, it just would have been a perfect high cut 3-wood. Land it in the middle of the green, it just goes over. I'm chipping up, or if it goes in the bunkers, whatever. But I mean, I'm on a downslope, ball's above my feet, and all I could picture was trying to hit this high cut and just nuking one right over those bunkers, and I didn't know what was back there. It could have been out of bounds, and my wedge game is really good right now, and I felt that I wasn't going to have outside of 12 feet if we laid it up. If I'd have been 10 yards closer, I could have hit a 5-wood. If I'd have been 10 yards farther back on a flat spot, we would have hit 3-wood, but we were in a tough spot.
I didn't see the shot in 8. How do you play that one to that front pin to get it close?
Yeah, I mean, I was in the fairway, so I had a wedge in my hand. It was it's actually a pretty easy wedge shot. You just have to get your yardage right. You just have to land it basically between the front and the hole, because the front all kicks down, and then kind of past the hole it slopes up a little bit. So I think I had about 109. I think we had, and we tried to land it like too short. We figured with everything I was playing, you know, 103, 102, 103, and it's a very comfortable sand wedge. Just kind of take a little off of it, and I like cutting my wedges anyway, so I was able to kind of cut one in there, and it knocked it close.
And secondly, has your grandfather ever been in a tournament you've won? Which one?
Well, not PGA Tour. He was at my first professional win in Columbus.
The
Web.com.
Or I'm sorry, the web. And secondly, in the times, whatever times you spend with him, and you've got a golf club in your hand, does he ever, I don't want to say give lessons, but does he ever weigh in?
I think he used to. He doesn't as much anymore. I think he sees that my dad and I have a pretty good thing going on. He cracks me up. I mean, he just showed up on the range today. I have no idea how he got in. I don't know how he got a seat. He's just sitting there in the range. He had ice cream and a Dr. Pepper for breakfast before I played yesterday, and the Kisners and Chapel's kids were all mad because they couldn't have ice cream for breakfast. He's awesome. I mean, I love spending time with my grandma and grandpa. They crack me up just listening to him talk. So it's cool having them here, and it'd be really, really special to win with them here.
One more question for Justin, anyone? Perfect. Thanks
Sweet.
for coming in, Justin.
Yep.
Good luck tomorrow.